Hi everybody, welcome to Copperwheat Films, and today we're going to talk about why I bought and then sold my Panasonic GH4. Firstly, I just want to say thank you for watching my first YouTube video. There's going to be some more, so subscribe, and I'm going to make some videos that tell you a little bit about me and some of the stuff that I've been doing, so you know a bit about the person that you're watching. But before then, feel free to check out my demo reel. We'll just show you some of the stuff that I've been doing over the last year. So this video is called Why I Bought and then sold my Panasonic GH4. And it's important to say straight away, I'm not suggesting everyone needs to sell the GH4 because it's rubbish, or don't buy a GH4. But for me, there was a few things I didn't know about the camera until I actually bought it. And now I do know it, I wish I hadn't. And I've had to go through the whole faff of kind of putting it on eBay and all that type of stuff, which takes up so much time and you end up losing some money, and it's not great. So hopefully, just to get a little bit of an idea of some of the stuff that I didn't like, it might kind of help you make your decision as well. So I guess the first question is, why did I actually buy the camera in the first place? Well, I've always used Canon DSLRs, and it's the camera that really got me into filmmaking in the first place, and I still absolutely love them, and I would recommend them to most people, especially if they're starting out. I mean, it looks great when you're close up and you've got that shallow depth of field, but anything with any kind of detail like trees or woods or forests or fields or anything that's got any detail in it, really struggles, and it got to a point where it really wound me up, and I thought it was time for an upgrade. So obviously the killer feature for the GH4 was the 4K internal recording, and considering that my biggest issue was the sharpness of the image in the DSLRs, this feature really stood out to me and was the main reason why I went ahead and brought it. The first thing I did, as you can imagine, was to take the camera out and just check that 4K image, and just to see whether the sharpness would be that much better than the DSLRs. And as you can imagine, I wasn't disappointed. The camera really could produce really crisp, sharp images, especially when you take a 4K image and then shrink it down. I'm sorry, I've got an owl on my roof. It's not an owl. Pigeon. Sounds similar. Go on. When you take that 4K image and you shrink it down to HD, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I was really impressed with it, especially when you put it side by side with the Canon image and a very similar type of shot. It looks totally different and so much better, to the point where the old stuff, it kind of looks like you're out of focus. The other thing that's really great about the 4K is that it's really easy to crop into an image to get two shots effectively from one camera, and this is really handy when you're kind of doing interviews and stuff, which I normally do quite a lot of. So this was a great feature, and not just for interviews, as you can see here, the ability to do it just a standard wide shot and then go in for close-ups and pans and tilts and things. It really is really great and really handy. So if you're going to do lots of interviews, this is a fantastic tool for you, and it will help you out hugely. And then lastly, the other thing that really impressed me, and I kind of didn't expect it to as much, because I didn't think it would be something that I loved until I used it, was slow-mo. As you know, pretty much everything in fact looks better in slow motion. Most things would look better in slow-mo, but it was a great feature, and 120 frames per second, really good, which again for the price is incredible in that camera. I was kind of expecting the low light to be a little bit better than my previous DSLR, and I was really disappointed with that. It wasn't. A lot of people were saying that it was very similar to a Mark II, Mark III in terms of the low light capabilities, and it really wasn't. It was just really rubbish, to the point where actually going over anything above ISO 800 or so, it just really struggled. Obviously, if you light a situation properly, if you do a proper lighting setup like this, it wouldn't be a big issue, but we can't do that for every single shot. Especially, I like doing lots of nature stuff, so going outside, and you can't take massive lighting rigs to shoot, landscapes and stuff. So that was a bit of a disappointment. The other thing, and probably the biggest thing for me, was the overall look of the image. And a big part of that for me was the shallow depth of field. Um, Obviously, you're buying a micro four thirds censored camera, so the amount of light that's going to come into the camera is nowhere near as great as it would be in a full frame sensor or a standard DSLR or anything like that. But I kind of didn't expect it to be as difficult to get the shallow depth of field as what it was. If you set up every shot, you can do it, and it is possible. As you can see here, when you really force the camera into creating that shallow depth of field, it is possible. You have to get very close to the subject. You kind of have to have your lens wide open, which means then you have to put loads of ND on it, or put it in slow-mo so that you change the shutter speed so it's less light. And it's a bit of a faff, really. If you could spend the time setting up every shot, it's probably quite possible. But in the real world, where you're kind of going around doing lots of fast shots, grabbing shots wherever you can, you haven't got time to do that. As you can see here with my DSLR footage from a long time ago, I wasn't ever trying to force any kind of shallow depth of field. There's a couple of shots where I wanted the depth of field to be very shallow, but when it comes to like just talking to someone, interviewing someone, it wasn't a struggle to get that, and it just naturally looked quite filmic. Whereas the GH4 didn't look anywhere near as nice as the DSLR did. And for me, that's a real biggie, because I love that really filmic look. So for me, the combination of it not being very good in low light, and also the problem of getting really shallow depth of field, for me, made me not want to use my camera very much, and I didn't feel excited about going out with it and shooting, which I guess is a sign that you've bought the wrong thing. And like I said, it might be different for you. You might be doing lots of studio work where it's all lit very well, so you don't have to worry about low light, and you're not going for that kind of really filmic look. Fine, it's probably a great camera for you. But I think if you're going for something that's very stylized, that you're not going to be able to set up every single shot, then perhaps you need to think about another camera. So there's a few things that I've learned from this whole process that I think is important to share. Number one, I know it sounds obvious and a lot of people say this, and it's okay for them to say because I've got lots and lots of gear, but gear isn't everything. When I look back over my demo reel, some of my favourite shots are from my Canon 600D, which is hilarious considering it's like thousands of pounds less than some of the cameras that we're using other shots in the demo reel. So gear isn't everything, it's about how you use it. I'm really learning actually the way that you film something, the way that you set up lights, the way you tell a story is so much more important than actually the camera that you're using. And throughout the rest of these videos I'm going to be making, there will be some gear reviews, but a lot of it will be about how to set lights up, how to create good shots, and not just about the camera. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments section below. Please subscribe to my channel, that'd be really handy. And I hope to put these videos out fairly regularly as well, so hopefully you'll see me again relatively soon. Alright, thank you.